You see this? If it don't slip, you must have quit. You must have quit.
Oh my goodness. Say that again?
If it don't slip, you must have quit.
Well, it definitely ain't a Rico, but we know that bad boys are freako.
You are now listening to Pree Da Production with your host, Madaro.
What is up, my tribal people? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And P. Diddy has been acquitted and found not guilty on Rico. He's been found guilty on a couple of things, but he's escaped the life imprisonment on Rikers Island. He's escaped the Rico charge, which would have seen all his assets seized and given to his alleged victims. So let's kick off where we left off. I'm not gonna lie, this 6 weeks trial was crazy. It was actually insane. The amount of opinions, the amount of updates people were giving, literally, for something that wasn't televised, updates galore. Everyone was making content about it, and I'm sorry, I just couldn't keep up. Every day there was something different. Every day there was something salacious, something juicy, something contradictory to what was known before. Like, last time we covered it, we got up to like just about the end of the prosecution bringing out Cassie as the quote-unquote star witness, and I didn't cover the defense, trying to rebuttal what she says, as well as, Kid Cudi. I think that's where we kind of left off at, but I'm not gonna lie, I put my hands up. I thought they were gonna take everything, but the more and the longer it went on, it kind of felt like the prosecution blew their load too soon. Maybe it was because Cassie was pregnant, heavily pregnant at that they couldn't save her for the end. But they started off so strong, and then it just kind of disintegrated. Like, let's get it clear. Rico is supposed to be for criminal organizations, large criminal organizations doing illegal activities for profit, whether that's, gangs, the mafia, selling DRUGs, selling SEX, right? Large criminal organizations, kingpins, lieutenants, sergeants, minions, goons, here, there, everywhere. But the longer this case went on, the more the defense was able to prove that this ain't really a Rico case. This is a Freako case. This is one guy who is a domestic. They didn't deny that. They admitted, yeah, he gets a bit handsy with his partners, and he likes them to get handled by other men. Right? They said this is not a Rico case. This is a Freako case. This one guy doing his own thing, paying people off for their services, their time, right? To engage in prostitution. And that's what he was, found guilty of. One of the things he found guilty of. And his partners were the main subjects. There wasn't a litany. There wasn't a whole school of girls. And when this all broke out and, Diddy's got tapes of people and XYZ, I was thinking, wow, this is really some demonic stuff. This is Hollywood. This is proper, like what we thought cult activities was. Oh, everyone's having orgies and him videoing them. We thought this was the next Epstein. We thought this was the Hollywood Epstein. Videoing people in compromising positions with this person, this ex-worker, and then using that as leverage to get his way in deals and, keep people under his grasp and keep his power in the industry. only for us to find out that this was on a hush-hush. Only the people in the inner circle and people close to him or had relations and past history with him would know that he gets down like this. Obviously, I'm not condoning any of the domestics he was involved with, but we got to be honest. He was freaked off and he found freaked off partners to engage in these freak-offs with. And at the start, you can completely say it was consensual. It might have tailed off towards the end and they were doing it just because they felt like they had to. But it was proven that some of them were into this. Well, no, all of them were into this. And they were even organising it for birthdays for themselves. Doing something special for Diddy. They would organise, they would link up with a guy, they would pay them. And when it comes to RICO, you're supposed to have co-conspirators. How come P. Diddy was the only one involved in the paperwork? There was no bodyguards. They mentioned the bodyguards. There was no assistants. They mentioned the assistants. There wasn't a laundry list of minions. It was like 5 people that was helping him get the DRUGs and get the ex-workers, set up the hotels, clean up the hotels, pay off whoever needs to be paid off for his own pleasure. As a sick individual, he wasn't trying to make money of it. Let's be honest. I don't want to defend this guy, and he's definitely going to jail, but just not forever, right? He's definitely going to get his comeuppance. Justice in a way is being served. It might not be what we initially thought it would be, but on the facts of the case and the arguments presented, this is what it is. And I'm not gonna lie, the prosecution kind of lost me when, you know, they were able to prove that Diddy wasn't such a bad guy all the time. There was people who wanted to come back into his life, knowing fully well what he was into. Former assistants trying to get back into the good graces and trying to see if they can get their old job back, or have you got any opportunities for me? If he was such a bad guy and he was doing all this against people's will, why are they coming back for more? Cassie, let's be honest, she wasn't this innocent bystander and everything was happening to her. The ex-workers were saying, yo, she was into it. I couldn't tell she was drugged up all the time. Like, she was asking for a lot of things. I was like, damn, shit. Apparently, broke up with Diddy, got with her new husband, or husband right now, and was FaceTiming him while they were doing the deed. When I found that out and she admitted it, I was like, damn. Yo, your missus got you out here looking crazy on the mains. I was like, oh, yo, this is wild. I was not expecting that. Yeah, it's crazy. Jane Doe as well. She was just a gold digger. She was willing to do everything. She was willing to be top freak off. She was willing to be top freaker. And she was happy with it until she found out that he was paying for other women as well. Paying for her house, paying for her lifestyle. And allegedly, that Jane Doe is... Hello? I've got to be real quiet. I've got to put the mic up here. But yeah, it's wild. Jane Doe. Lifestyle being paid for, apparently, allegedly, is Daphne Joy? I think that's the name. 50 Cent's ex... I don't want to say wife, but baby mama. He was coming out swinging, talking about your little sex worker. But yeah, the defense was able to prove that they were consenting. Paper trails proving that they were consenting, proving the guilty verdict of sex trafficking across state lines, and the fact that they tried to stretch RICO to this length, it's like they were just after his money. Let's be honest. They were stretching the definition to try and make people believe this is something it wasn't. Let's be honest. He was doing his own thing. There weren't anybody as freaky as P. Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs. Dr. Freakoff. Diddy Freakoff. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When this news broke, I was like, oh shit. About time we got a verdict. And then there's the people celebrating. There's one thing being like, oh well, I guess that's what the jury decided. And there's another thing, being outside the courthouse, having a mini freak off, a diet freak off with baby oil.
I don't know what she gonna do, y'all.
Some guy in a purple pimp suit, some woman shaking her boobs and getting baby oil sprayed all over them. Bottles, one Astro Glide and one baby oil, talking about if it don't slip, you must have quit.
You must have.
Oh my goodness. Say that again?
We're not living on Earth. Got the phones out. You can tell they were clout chasing, trying to get a viral moment. And it worked. They got the viral moment. And I guess the P. Diddy supporters are happy. He's not going to jail for life. He's still got his assets. He can still provide for his family. They're safe. And now we go to sentencing. From what I've read, the maximum is 20 years on both counts. So 10 on each. And the way the defense and the prosecutors are going to be arguing is going to be the defense saying, you know, he's never had any encounters with the law. He hasn't had a criminal record. He's got a criminal history, but hasn't got a criminal record. First time offender. He's already served time. He's been denied bail. And obviously, the judge denied his bail this time as well. But the prosecution is going to try and say, hey, look, this guy, he's already admitted that he's a violent person. We can't have him out here in the community. He's got loads of money. He can flee at any time. He can target people who have testified against him. He is a danger to society. I heard some lawyers saying they're going to try and aggregate everything, being like, yo, how many times did he do X, Y, and Z? How many times did he break the law? He did it here, did it here, did it here. Here's the evidence that supported it, that we proved. And they're going to try and rack up years based on that.
What they'll do is they'll create a sentencing guideline. They'll give a range of months that they believe the judge should follow in one way, shape, or form as to what Sean Combs should be facing. Now, both sides have already kind of done their calculations. The defense believes that he should get anywhere from 21 to 27 months. The government believes anywhere from 51 to 63 months. And if you're as bad at math as I am, that's basically the government saying 4 to 5 years, and the defense saying just shy of 2 years or so. Or smartest thing that they will do is they'll say, these aren't just two transfer stations to engage in prostitution. Here are the 27 escorts, here are the 2 alleged victims, and here are all the flights. There are dozens of them, and they'll try to use that as aggravating, and also use the violence as aggravation as well.
When it comes to a federal sentence, the judge can take into account bad acts, meaning incidents that you have engaged in that you may have not been arrested for, you may not have been convicted of, but does show your propensity and the type of person you are. This judge is going to try to get the sentence that reflects, 1, deterrence, sending a message to the public that this type of behavior will not be stand for. In terms of rehabilitation, what is the best sentence that will rehabilitate Sean Combs so that way when he is ultimately released, he wouldn't be committing these same acts? Punishment. Punishment. How do you punish a person for the acts that they've committed? So wise transportation to engage in prostitution is not just 2 acts, but we're talking about dozens and dozens of you transporting these commercial workers for the purposes of sex.
I would say he doesn't have a criminal record, but he does have a criminal history.
Yes.
And that difference is going to be big for him.
And whoever's got the best argument on the defense is trying to look for 2 to 4 years. And the prosecution is trying to be like, 10 minimum. And sentencing is supposed to be in October, but they're looking to expedite that decision. So we'll know by the end of July whether P. Diddy is going to be serving 2 to 4 or 7 to 10. Well, let me know what you think about this whole situation, guys. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
I be kidding on my foes, even though I got it all on my own. Success sweet, yeah, it tastes like honeycomb. Dropping blood tears and even breaking bones. I'm sipping on Patron while aiming for the throne. I've been to hell and back and even